Morning, everybody. David Shapiro here with another video. Today, we are going to be synthesizing emails. Now, I have seen dozens, if not hundreds, of people asking on the OpenAI community and Reddit how to synthesize emails. And I want to do this for all kinds of emails, right? For the most part, people are like, oh, well, there's copy AI and other things, but it's kind of generic though. I had this idea for a while ago because I work in technology, and some technologists are grumpy. Some of us have bad days. I have gotten very good at writing diplomatic emails. I have a whole bunch of rules in my head that I use for writing perfect emails. Bottom line up front, which is your subject line should have a statement of fact or a question or a problem, right? Whoever is getting your email, they should know exactly what you need as close as possible just from the subject line, for instance. That sort of stuff. But then there's marketing copy, there's emails to friends and family, there's emails to whoever, right? So there's a few things that need to happen when you're writing an email. And also, let me warn you, this is going to be a long video. I'll try and cut it down in post, but no promises. This could be a very long one. Close this from my last video. Um, yeah, so the first thing that we need to do when we're generating emails is we need to have a bunch of different intents. And so, what is an email intent? Um, it is like, who am I emailing to? What am I talking about? And so on. And so, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do a couple quick experiments to actually let me make sure this is recording right. Okay, yes. Um, to work on a prompt. So the first thing is we're going to make a prompt to help us generate an email intent. Um, UUID. So what I'm going to do is what I've started doing is I just put a UUID up front because that increases the internal entropy of the machine, and you will get better randomness. So let's see. Imagine, um, let's see, a scenario. Let's see. Imagine, yeah, we'll say a scenario where one person is writing an email to another. Um, Describe the scenario in a paragraph. Um, so let's see. Here are some uh, ideas to help format or to help uh, form the scenario. Okay, so we'll say inform the scenario. And so then then what I'll do here is I'll have a whole bunch of modifiers. Um, and so this is a way to add even more entropy. If you've watched my other videos, you'll know that one thing that I do is I will have placeholders in the prompts, and then I'll rotate through those placeholders. And so then in this case, let's say let's see, email to boss, ask for raise, something like that, right? And then so that's that, and then we'll say scenario, and then we'll just like so you're emailing your boss for a raise. You have been with the company for a year and feel you have contributed a lot. Um, your boss responds and says that he will think about it. Okay, so I didn't want it to give the whole scenario. So we need to fix this prompt. Let's see. Imagine where one person is writing an email to another. Describe the scenario in a paragraph. Let's see. Actually, describe the outgoing email. So we need this is an exercise in being specific. Describe the outgoing email in a paragraph. Okay, and so then we'll change this to email. Yeah, no, that wasn't right. Okay, so we do want it to say a scenario. You feel you're being underpaid and ask for a raise of 5,000. Okay. Okay, good. It's getting some good entropy. Writing this just a few times, 500 per month. Good. And then so here also when you're doing synthetic data, I often turn the temperature up higher. Um, yep. Cool. Okay, so this is obviously getting a little bit repetitive. There will be more entropy when we fill this out, but this is definitely good enough. So then we'll do a placeholder here. So we'll do, nope, that's the UUID. And then we'll do a placeholder here for modifier. Okay, and then we'll delete this. And so basically, this is going to be, this is not the helper bot one, this is the perfect email generator. So this will be prompt to form intents. And so then what I'll do is we will go to the script that I copied from a previous one, and we'll just modify this. So this is a super simple script. All it does is it loads a prompt, and then actually no, this was a little bit different. So we're going to, well, first we can just clear all this out because I don't think I need to reuse this, but the rest of it I can reuse. Okay. So then we need to have a list of modifiers up here. So we'll say modifiers equals, and then we'll do, let's see. So we have all kinds of intents. We say, let's see. How did I do it in this example? Email to boss, ask for raise. Okay. Email to boss, ask for raise. And then, actually, because I'm going to aim for 400 different things. So I don't want to have like, yeah, there's going to be some variance, but like each one of these is only going to give me about 5 good different things of variance. Because ideally, it would invent these modifiers on its own. Let me think about this for a second. I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause the recording and think about how to fully offload the creative process because I want GPT-3 to write these modifiers for me. Let me think about this for a second. Okay, I think I figured it out. So what I'm going to do first actually is those intents. I'm going to get GPT-3 to generate a list of intents, and what I'll do is I'll give it just a list of types. So what I did here was I just did a quick thing where I said, imagine a list of any reasons to write an email. And I gave it a couple of examples. And so then what I'll do is I'll do a modifier. So I'll say like work related. And so then I'll just clear that out. Ask boss for a raise, resign from job, request time off, ask for help with a project. And then it switched to personal. So this is one problem. You see how it just kind of imagined like, okay, we're going to switch topics now. I didn't want it to do that. That is something that happens if you have the temperature too high. So let's turn the temperature, ask boss for promotion, resign from job. There we go. Decline a meeting. Dang. Okay. So this just generated like 50 or maybe 25 work-related intents. I might not even need to automate this part. That's 40 right there, almost 40. Okay. Get well soon. Yeah, I really like this. Yeah, so that's 40 intents right there. So let me just I'll just leave that right there. That's fine. Let's then imagine a list of any reasons to write an email, and then we'll say family related. No, don't give me friendship related. I want family related. Actually, we'll note that down for later. Friend related. See, it's being creative for me. This is where GPT-3 is really great at brainstorming. Let's just delete that. We'll come back to you. Work related. Stop changing the topic. GPT-3 really doesn't want to talk about family. Only family related. Here, let's add a space. So one thing that I've noticed, and this might just be my imagination, like some magical thinking. I've noticed that if GPT-3 doesn't put a space after a dash, it tends to have stranger behavior. So let's add a space, and then let's go back and see if that clears it up. To apologize, and then it just gives up. Let's get a new UUID. Generate version 4 UUID. Give me a new one. And then we'll go here. Yeah, it keeps wanting to change topics. What if we do higher temperature? And then I'll try lower temperature. So tell a family member you love them. That's great. And then it just keeps giving up. Why you don't cooperate? Okay, fine. We'll just copy this over. No, don't save it. We don't need to save that. And then we'll say friends related. Catching up, favor request, group project. Sending a funny meme. 0.5. Change this to friend related. Yeah, it keeps wanting to switch to like work related. Oops. Planning a social outing, asking for advice. Yeah. Yeah, it came up with a whole lot of reasons for work related emails. Here, you know what? I'll just condense all this onto a single list. So we're at like 66 intents, friends, family, work. What else? Maybe like church and neighborhood. Yeah, that could be good. Let's see, church related, because there's a lot of people that go to church. I know that. Don't do that. To share a testimony, to update church on a mission trip. That's great. Oh, school related. Yes. School related. Communicate with teacher about an assignment. Stop it. Stop switching to personal and work and stuff. Give me. I'm about to lose my cool with this thing. It really doesn't want to talk about school. Let's see. So this is assuming like to classmate. Let's see, to ask professor for a syllabus. Let's just see if we can prime the pump and get it to think. There we go. There we go. Ask student services for help. Much better. Much better. To inquire about graduation. My girlfriend just graduated, so this has been a topic of conversation in our home. Okay, so we got some school related stuff, church, school. Whoops, that didn't copy it. Control C. I know how to use computers, I promise. All right, we're up to 106. And I want 400. So if I go through each of these 4 times, I could probably get 4 different variations of these. But actually, yeah, because so this is probably good enough, because here's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to generate different kinds of inputs. So rather than, like, for some of these, it's just going to be like write an email that says this. But in other cases, I'm going to use these to do different things. So like one of the input formats is going to be just a list, like just write this as bullet points, right? And so you feed the machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create training data where the input is just bullet points and then the output is a perfect email. In another case, I'm going to have where the input is a summary of the email as a paragraph, like write me an email that does this, and the output is a full email. And then in another case, I'll have where the input is a messy email, right? Like one that's overly aggressive, one that is one that's got a lot of typos, one that is just not clear, right? And then the output will be a perfect email. And so by having those different input formats, that's what I mean by this is going to be a universal email generator. You give it anything and it'll write you a good email about it. So, yes. I think this is probably good. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of cleanup. I'll pause the video here. You don't need to see me cleaning up this file, and then we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Did it? It is recording. Okay. So I cleaned it up, and we now have a file. It's 90 instances long, um, and it is called baseline intents. And so we've got there's a bunch that are friend, family, church, work related, right? All different kinds of things. And so what we're going to do is I'm then going to use that prompt that I showed you just a minute ago, where we'll have a scenario. So describe the outgoing email in a paragraph, and then we'll say like uh, describe the outgoing email. Um, Here's some ideas. Include relevant details. So in this case, we want like names and stuff, such as names and times. Um, so this will be like one kind of like way to write an email. And so we'll probably just generate like one batch of these where it'll be like here's what the email needs to achieve, right? So let's copy this up to the playground. All right, and we can get rid of this. And so then let's turn this temperature back up to 1. And then we'll copy out one of these modifiers, one of these baseline intents. Cancel a meeting. No, I don't want you to write the email. Imagine the scenario. Describe the email in a paragraph. Include relevant names. Um, no, I want you to write like just run it again. One person is writing to you, and it's just parroting back what I asked. No, give me like imagine a scenario. I wonder if we change this. Okay, that's a little bit better. Detailed scenario. Hi, name, and it's yeah. This is where GPT-3 often really falls down, where sometimes it's complete garbage. Like if you give this instruction to a human, it's like imagine a scenario. Let's see, like yeah, let's um, invent the names and background information, um, and then we'll say describe the scenario in a paragraph. Let's see, and then we'll shorten this intent. Cancel a meeting. All right, let's see if that works. And then it's just writing the email. And it's writing the email. Okay. I might need to switch to few shot on this. Um, yeah, this is not cooperating. I'm gonna pause this and do some experimentation because this is being frustrating. Okay, I think I have a better prompt. It says write a detailed paragraph describing a scenario where one person has to write an email to another. Imagine the scenario and tell it like a story. So this, I think, fixed it. Write what happened and why does the email need to be sent. Write only about the sender. Intent cancel a meeting. So I've run this a few times and it seems to be pretty consistent. It is 8 a.m. the day of an important meeting and you're scheduled to attend with a client. So telling a story, this is great. You're feeling confident. However, when you arrive at the office, your boss pulls you into your office and you need to stay on another important project. So this is great. This is a perfect story where you can imagine something like this might actually happen. Um, there you go. You have to wait. You decide to write an email to find out why the meeting was canceled and rescheduled. And then again, you are scheduled to meet with your boss to, okay. So it is a little bit repetitive, but we've also got 90 different intents that we can use. What am I doing? Here we go. So let's just grab another random one to communicate with an academic advisor and detailed scenario. So let's see. I need to email my academic advisor for advice on what classes to take. I'm not sure. I'm feeling a bit lost. Oh, this is great. Perfect. And because you can imagine if you're communicating with an email bot, it might say like, "What is it that you're trying to do?" So we're gonna basically start with that brainstorm list of intents, and we're gonna expand them into stories. So I will go ahead and we will make a folder called stories, and we'll rename this file. Actually, I'll make sure it's saved. Synthesize intents. Yes. Yes. Okay. So we'll go ahead and close all that. We'll change this to synthesize stories. So we'll basically use, and these background stories will be like one version of like the input, right? So here's a story, write the email, right? So we'll have stories, and then we'll also do these as lists, but we'll also start as like let's see, we'll just say lists. So we'll have stories, we'll have lists, and they'll all be based on these baseline intents. So we'll have stories, lists. What else did I say? Oh, bad emails. So we'll say messy emails. So lists, stories, messy emails. And those are ones that are like misspelled, aggressive, something like that. So that'll basically be like rewrite the following email so that it's better. So actually, we'll call this bullet points. Whoops, go back. Bullet points. And then we'll have the stories. So write me a story about it, why this email needs to be written. And then I need a fourth and possibly a fifth category so typically they say that 200 samples is the minimum. However, I am finding that with some of these more complex tasks, you end up with bad repetition. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my sample count to 400, so double the sample count. But I think I'm also going to add a stop token at the end of it, because GPT-3 does much better with the stop tokens, especially on these more open-ended things. Because without the stop token, you're more likely to get the repetition. I'm going to pause again and do a little bit of brainstorming because I need a fourth or fifth category. 1 second. Okay, figured it out. So first, I've got 4 categories. So I'm going to generate a list of bullet points. So it's just here's a list of facts about the email. Here's conversations. So the conversation is going to be between the person sending the email and the chatbot asking, what kind of email do you want to send? Well, it could be a chatbot or it could be like an executive assistant. It'll be an executive assistant chatbot. There you go. Messy email. So this is like I just hammered out an email and it's messy. Fix it for me. And then the story. So we're working on the stories first. Now, I did a couple other things. First, I expanded the baseline intents up to 100 because I want 400 samples. So I was at 90. I was like, I just need 10 more. So I added the neighborhood situation. So like someone's dog is on the loose, children running through backyards, a package was delivered to them, like typical stuff that you might see on a neighborhood listserv. So we've got that. And then I updated the synthesized stories thing. So basically what I'm going to do, here, I can just show you real quick. So we'll do CD, what was it? Universal, what was it? Perfect email generator. There we go. Python synthesize stories. And so here we go. Detailed scenario, or that's the end. So this is the beginning of each one. Now let's add, we'll do /n/n and then a few signs /n/n. That make it a little prettier. Okay, so here's what we're getting. Like, write a detailed paragraph describing a scenario where one person has to email another. Imagine the scenario and tell it like a story. What happened? Why does the email need to be sent? Write only about the sender. Intent: a sidewalk is cracked or needs to be shoveled. Detailed scenario. So what we're going to do is I'm going to generate 100 stories about why these emails need to be sent. So that's what's just about to happen. I've got this stuff commented out, so you saw the process here. Let's see. Oh, and one thing that I need to show you is that in the playground, I accidentally overwrote that perfect prompt, and I was like, no, where did it go? And so I wanted to point out, um, I had forgotten about this until I was like, I need this. So there's this little handy dandy button. So like you can rerun a prompt, you can regenerate the prompt, but you can also look at your prompt history, and it goes back 30 days. So if you did something perfect and you don't remember what you wrote, click on the little clock, the rewind time button, and it will save your life. Okay, so I'm going to generate some data. We'll have 100 stories, and then we'll come back and move on to the next step. Okay, the first run is running, so I just want to show you what the process looks like. Um, I have it, outputting to screen, so it's like here's the prompt, and then here's the output. Um, you've been dating your current partner for about a year, and blah blah blah. Things are starting to get serious. You're asking for advice. These are some great stories, by the way. Um, so basically, what I'm doing here is I'm generating a lot of synthetic data. So here's the output. We've got 20 so far out of 100. So here's an example. It's your cousin's birthday, and you want to send her a quick email to say happy birthday. You draft a brief message, wish her a happy birthday, and hit send. So that's a totally legit email. But then let's sort by size. So you're sitting at your desk working on a project for your boss. You've been with the company for a few years now, and you feel like you're due for a raise, et cetera, et cetera. So this is like another great example as to why you might want to write an email. So what I'm going to do once this is done, and actually maybe I don't need to sit. I'll let this run in the background. So once this is done, I will. How do I get back? No, don't do that. There we go. So I'm going to take some of these stories and I'm going to say, write a perfect email from them. So let's just go ahead and start prompt engineering that. Given the following scenario, write the perfect email. Let's just see if that works. All right. So we'll say scenario, and then we'll say perfect email. Hi, boss. Let's see. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to check with you about my email asking for a raise. If I know you're busy, so I don't want to bother you in person, I just wanted to make sure you saw it and that you're considering it. I really appreciate what you've done for me, and I promise to continue great work if you give me a raise. Thanks for your time, and I'll talk soon. Okay, so is that congruent with the story? You hit send and then you wait. Okay, you already asked for a raise. Perfect. Perfect. So yeah. Um, it doesn't have a name. That's fine. We can. I'm not as worried about like subject lines and senders and stuff. Although we can have subject lines because I did talk about how I have some rules for perfect subject lines. So we will do that. I also realized I didn't have any marketing copy examples. This should generalize well enough for marketing copy. Should. But now I feel guilty. I probably should have that as an example. Okay, let's try a different scenario. We're already up to 50, so it's halfway done. I need to write an email asking for time off. So let's do this. Let's see if the perfect email. Hi, boss. I was hoping I could schedule a meeting. Had at work recently. I've been feeling my workload is excessive and I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. I'd like to sit down with you and discuss how I'm feeling and see if there's anything that can be done to lighten my load a bit. That's great. Okay, it's basically just reiterating it, but it's just yeah, that's fine. So you can see how by having this iterative process, it kind of gets better and better. Um, yeah, cool. So I really like this. Just by saying like write the perfect email, like it knows how to be polite. So we'll save this prompt. I'll go ahead and come over here and we'll do this. Add a second new line and we'll do scenario and then perfect email. And then we'll save this as the prompt. Let's see, scenario to email. That text. Okay. So we'll use this to generate the output emails. And so what I did was I'll have a folder where we'll have the actually I'm going to need to think about how to do this because I've got the final emails, right? This is the final output. Actually, I know how I'll do it. Uh, I'll show you in a little bit. Okay, I'll pause again and do a little bit more work, and then we'll come back. Basically, what I'm going to do, just so you know what to expect, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use those baseline intents to generate a few more of those of these types of emails. So like we've got the stories. This is almost done, and so then I'll basically convert those to bullet points, and then I'll have the conversation, and then I'll have just the messy versions of the email. So instead of the perfect email, it'll be like an email full of typos, one that's overly aggressive and demanding, one that doesn't have enough information. And so then the perfect email generator will be able to take in, if you just give it a list of bullet points, it'll take that and run with it. If you give it a story, it'll take that and run with it. If you give it a conversation, like a transcribed conversation with an executive assistant or a chat log, it can take that and run with it. So that's what we're aiming for. Okay, the stories are done, and I'm working on the bullet points version. So I think that you'll see some utility in this. So I think I've got the prompt okay. So bullet points should include topics such as to, from, subject, intention, goals, tone, and so on. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to train it to or create a data set that will be able to just say, okay, given a list of a few things, it will be able to do this. And I think that like to, from, subject, tone, intentions, this is great. Intentions and goals, this is probably all we need. So then let's switch to marketing email about a fun new product. To potential customers, subject, intention, and yep, great. This should have more detail, and so in the long run, imagine your intentions. You might change a bullet point to say something like, product description or whatever. But we can augment that later and see how well it handles it. But remember, one of the things is that we also have stories, right? So we're training this model. No one format has to be perfect, and we're training this model to do all kinds of different stuff. And we'll see how it goes. So let me go ahead and copy this. So we'll do uh, scenario. Be creative as this is an imaginary scenario. Bullet points. And we'll save this and we'll say prompt bullet points. Okay. And then we'll go back to, so we've got our baseline intents. That's not going to change. Oh, one thing I did was because there were so many work related ones, I went in and added like B2C stuff and vendor stuff and B2B examples. Because like, okay, so we get some marketing stuff in here too. All right, so we're there. Prompt bullet points, and then we do synthesize bullet points. So we'll come in here and we'll basically just change this to bullet points. And so from modifier to modifiers, so we'll actually change this to modifier because we're taking those baseline intents. And then we need to add the UUID. UUID, get a little bit more entropy. Synthesize bullet points, and so then we'll change this to bullet points. That should be good. Bullet points, yep, that's where it should land. Python synthesize bullet points to announce new baby. Oh, snap, I messed up. Stop, halt. So what I do often, let me show you where I messed up. See how there's no new lines? So I often remove new lines from output so that it's all one paragraph. But if you need a list, you don't want that. So we'll comment out this line. That's what this does. This compresses it all into one paragraph. And we will delete these and start over. This is why you check your work as you go. All right, let's make sure this looks good. To announce a new baby. And we should get some legit bullet points. Okay, cool. Um, all family members, and this is good. So you see how it's giving different formats. You actually want messy data when you're fine tuning GPT-3, especially if you want it to be universal. You really want it to have like different formats. Some of them you might not even have bullet points. And what that does is it trains the model to be able to tolerate and interpret different kinds of input. So this is going well. I'm going to pause it again, do a little bit more work on the back end, and then we'll be back. Okay, and we're back. I took a little while and I created, there's four different types. So I've got bullet points. So here's an example of what I mean by bullet points. So it's just like you give it kind of a stack of of items, all different kinds. So it's just relatively unstructured. So that's one type. And then the next type is conversations. So I synthesized a bunch of conversations where it's like a chat log and it's like, I need to request a work from home arrangement. Is this permanent or do you need it just for a certain period of time? I need it for a certain period of time. I have a family emergency. Okay, I can draft an email. No, that's all. Thank you. So, just imagine like you have a chat bot that'll help you write emails. That's what this is for. I need to communicate with the housing office. What do you need to say to the housing office? Sometimes it cuts off. That's fine. Um, so there's bullet points, there's conversations, there's messy emails. So I asked it to make really like rude emails. Hi, I'm struggling in my class. This is wondering if I could talk to you to get some help from an academic advisor. I'm really struggling. I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. Thanks. So like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it could be better, right? It could be more diplomatic. It could be more thorough, more clear. Let's see. I need to talk to someone in student services. So this is all lowercase. It's, written a little bit trashy. Um, and then, hey there, Bible lover. Yeah. So these are examples of emails that could be better. And then finally, the stories, which is where we started. And so we've got, hey, you've been dating your current partner and things are starting to get serious. So here's a story, right? Which like you might just kind of dictate this, like, here's my story, write an email for me. So given these different formats, what I did, so there was 4 steps to synthesize each of those, and then there was 4 more steps to synthesize the perfect email. So here is what the final ones look like. And you can see down here, there's 400 total samples. Let's pick a longer one. So here is an example of a bad email being rewritten to be a good email. So I can't stand working here anymore. I've had it with the long hours, the crappy pay, and impossible demands. Management is always on our backs, breathing down our necks. We never get a break. Obviously, like this is an email that someone might write, especially if they're frustrated. So it's like, I'm quitting. So then you say, okay, perfect email. Let's rewrite this. Let's be more diplomatic. I wanted to reach out and let you know that I've been feeling really overwhelmed at work lately. I'm really not enjoying my job and I feel like I'm constantly stressed out. I understand that there are demands that need to be met, but I feel like I'm never given a break. I've also been really unhappy with the hours and the pay. I know that you're under a lot of pressure too, but I feel like I'm constantly being micromanaged. I know that you're just trying to do your job, but it's really starting to wear on me. I was really disappointed to hear that we're going to have to start working Saturdays. I think it just made that up. That's okay. I was really hoping to have that day off to spend with family, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm not sure if I can keep up with this pace. Can we talk about this? I'd really appreciate it if we can find a way to improve working situation. I love the company. I don't want to leave, but I just can't keep going on like this. Thank you for your time. So you can see like where it has rewritten the email, total rewritten the email, so that way we can take this as an input and then this will be the output. And this is actually what the training data is going to look like. So the final step that I haven't done yet, I'll pause the video and do it again, or do it and then show you, is let's take these 400 different samples. Let's just grab another random one. Hey there, coworker. Let's see, this one didn't do a full rewrite. Then that's fine. Some of them don't need much help. Let's see. Oh, here we go. To colleagues from yourself, upcoming changes at work, to inform colleagues of upcoming changes, to ensure that everyone is on the same page, professional and informative. Hey everyone, as we all know, change is inevitable. Starting next week, there will be some changes taking place at work. I just want to let everyone know what to expect so that we can all be on the same page. Firstly, the office will be getting a makeover. Oh, cool! It made up a situation, which is exactly what I wanted to do. We will be repainting the walls and getting new furniture. The reception area will be undergoing some changes. Secondly, there will be some changes in our daily routines. The biggest change will be that we will now working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Yeah, so that's fine. And because we're going to be fine tuning it on all these different, I just noticed the name Praise a Cow. Because we're going to be fine tuning it on all these different kinds of input, the final model will actually be more robust and more capable than any of these individual samples. And I'll show you what you mean after we're done. So I'm going to go ahead and do the fine tune job. And then when we come back, I will show you the final product. All right, the email generator is done. So let's give it a try. Scroll down. Let's see, fine tune, David Shapiro, Dolly, email generator. There it is. So I wrote a couple of scenarios. This one was actually inspired by a Reddit post that was trending. So the story is my cousin Jenny embarrassed my son at her wedding. My son is trans, AFAB, and Jenny insisted on calling my son by his dead name. Because of this, we decided to leave early. I needed to send an email to the family explaining why. To my whole family, from me, my son, and my wife. We left, subject, why we left Jenny's wedding early. Intent, explain why Jenny's behavior was hurtful and unacceptable. Goal, have the family understand our perspective and needs and repair damaged relationships. Tone, diplomatic but firm. So let's see what it does. Let's turn up the length a little bit, 512. So this was trained on 400 samples, and there's 4 different types. Here we go. Do. Oh, I forgot to add stops. Oh well. Um, Darn it. That's fine. All right. So, dear family, we are sorry we had to leave Jenny's wedding early, but we felt that we had no other choice. Jenny embarrassed our son by insisting on calling him by his dead name. Despite our clear communication, that was not acceptable. We understand that this was a misunderstanding on Jenny's part and that she did not mean to cause any harm. However, we feel that this behavior is completely unacceptable and there's no excuse for it. We understand that it is not your fault and you did not know what was going on. However, we feel that you should have been made aware of what was going on. We hope that you can understand our perspective and that we did what we felt was necessary to protect our son. We would appreciate it if you could respect our privacy at this time. Thank you. Okay, that's not so bad. Um, yeah, I really regret that I forgot to put in a stop, but that's okay. Someone told me, what is it? If you do, there we go. So we'll do that. Okay, so if there's a double new line, actually that'll probably stop immediately. Let's try that. Yeah, because it'll just stop there. So if we do one new line, there we go. We're sorry we had to leave. Okay, cool. So the stop can probably just be if you start with one new line and go there. Okay, so then there was a second scenario, which was a chat. So this is a chat. Let me just show you what it says. Um, User, I need a B2B email. I'm a vendor trying to get in with a new prospect. Okay, what are you selling? A mail opening service. What are the special features? Our mail service is totally automatic. It uses OCR and other AI for automation. Great. What kind of value prop are you offering? We save our customers hundreds of hours per year by automatically opening and replying to their letters and emails. Assistant. And is this a cold email or do you want them, or do you know them already? It's cold email marketing. So let's just jump in. Hey there, I'm a vendor trying to get with a new prospect. Well, it's supposed to write to the prospect. Um, let's see. So that's not exactly what I was looking for. There we go. That's a little bit better. We provide a mail opening service that is completely automatic. Our services use OCR and other AI for automation, which saves our customers hundreds of hours per year. If you're interested in learning more, please feel to reach out to me. My contact info is below. Thanks. User vendor contact info. Um, Not the best, but it's a start. And again, this only took a couple hours, and yeah. So let's do. Let's see. User cold email marketing. It should be really long and enticing. Um, I need to provide examples. Assistant. Okay. Okay. Do you have examples for me? User. No, just make some stuff up. All right. So let's see what it says this time. Our services save our customer hundreds of hours per year. That's time that you can spend on more important things. Okay, that's not so bad. Um, yeah, so the fact that it can take that this fine-tuned model can take any kind of generic input and generate a decent email output just with a couple hours worth of work, I think is pretty good. Let's try another scenario. Let's see. I need to write an email to who am I writing to? Let's say to my brother John. Let's see. This is about his house that I'm helping him build. I am his general contractor. Uh, the problem is that John is a tool. Um, really, what I mean is that he's demanding and has hounded off my foreman. John really needs to stop going to the job site to micromanage everything. He's got no effing clue how to build a house, and I've been doing this for 25 uh, goddamn years. So he needs to screw off. Um, like his house is uh, months behind schedule and over budget, and he keeps blaming me, but really it's mostly his fault. For instance, he intercepted a delivery of materials and sent it back because he imagined that they were subpar. Uh, um, but in reality, they were top notch. Um, okay, yeah. So let's see how it handles this. Um, oh, whoops. Here, let's just delete this. Perfect email. I'm being with the blah, blah, blah. Hi, John. I'm sorry to hear that you've been having some problems with the construction of your house. Okay. It looks like we can just do add perfect as a stop because that seems to be like what it tries to do. Okay. I want to assure you that we're doing everything we can to resolve the issues as quickly as possible. I understand that it can be frustrating to feel like you're not getting the support you need, but please don't go to the job site without permission. This is a safety issue for both you and the crew, and it's not fair to them to have to stop what they're doing to deal with an unannounced visitor. Oh, look at this. This is perfect. I understand that you're concerned about getting your house finished on schedule and within budget, but please don't interfere with the work or blame the foreman. He's doing the best he can under difficult circumstances, and it's not his fault that you're behind schedule and over budget. If there are any specific issues you have with the construction, please let me know, and I'll do my best to resolve them. Thanks. Perfect. Okay. I think this shows that I have a universal email generator. It could use some improvement, but that's only 400 samples. Those samples can be improved. We can add more different types of emails to get a little bit better output. But I'd say that this is 5 stars. Well, let's say 4.5 stars. It could do a little bit better, but it's pretty darn good. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and consider supporting me on Patreon. Link is in the description.